this series is pretty successful. If Civilization Reset Episode 3, let's get into it. Alright, just want to say something now. Figured out a name for this pink team to distinguish it from that one. So I decided to call this Rojana. Because pink is rouge in Greek, so I was thinking of that, and then, that just popped in my head, so I'll just refer to it as Rojana from now on. Wait, I also came up with a name for the blue team, Pebblazulria. So, Peb, for them being founded on the Pebble Mountains, and Lazulria for lazuli, because that's blue. And I think we could get into it now. P.S. Extra note, this is going to be Zeluda, and this is Arkendra. So, I think we're going to begin this episode with Pebblazulria waging another war against the Alliance. It's Rojana formed. It starts off with Pebblazulria starting a surprise attack on its former on the Grey Nation and just on this alliance. And they're pretty quick to react with the purple team swooping down trying to liberate their lands. They're pretty successful into liberating. But then another wave of troops start to appear. With their boat technology, they start some major attacks on Rojana. They're taking down the Grey Nation, and they're not doing too hot. Eventually, the Grey Nation just collapses, falls under, and now the land is they just pretty much expanding until they finally establish a front, which they do. And they decide to end the war here. In the Treaty of Mendaver, which is the capital of Pebblazulria, over here, the Grey Nation gets wiped off the map, and the blue team doesn't take all of it. The last of it just gets partitioned between these two, and they take all their old land back that Rojana and the purple team stole. After that happens, these two nations decide to start a colonization program. Yes, I know it doesn't really make sense that Rojana, the former colony of Muba, decides to colonize for themselves, but it is what it is, and it's not the same. So, we got Rojana sailing through the Pebble Ocean and landing here, establishing a colony. And then we have the Purple Nation, which decides to sail down under, and over here. Yep, settle around here. All right. So, after the war, some people decide that it's not safe to be in Simvada where the warfare is happening, and they decide to migrate to this area, the Maga Islands, forming the nation of Maga. So they can avoid warfare. Speaking of Simvada, back up there, these two nations decide to do some northern expanding, and yeah, they do that. So it's nothing too special. They just doing it after losing the war. Um, Something like this, I guess. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So people from the Brown Nation form a new country up here. So like this light purple of sorts. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what color this is. What color is this? And after that, another nation forms on the tip of here, expanding down through there and going up here. And yeah. Well, and that's the last of land. So the pink team decides to grab onto that. So they just do what they wanted to do. Yeah. There we go. Back on the topic of colonization. So Rojana's new so Rojana and the Purple Nation's new colonization program just created. Start expanding a bit more, and then the yellow team links up with them. So that happens. And then down here, that happens, and yeah. Now the purple team has decided, why don't we sail straight through here? What's the worst that could happen? So they rev up their boats and they start to venture through. They eventually hit this island, and then they decide to establish it for themselves, and then they use it to make it here and have another small colony. Now, and this is major for the world. This is major because they now have a strategic point before in a continent before anyone else does. They just crossed the Woizemben Ocean. Eventually, Zeluda falls into a civil war. And the rebellion's reasons for rebelling, it's because of Rojana and the Purple Nation. They want to align their nation with them, but the yellow team is wants to be relatively neutral, and then things don't get sorted out well, and they start rebelling. So the rebellions rebel from the southern portions, and Zeluda's like, I can deal with those. So they decide to fight back, but then that doesn't slow them down. But that doesn't slow it down. More of the rebellion appears across the nation, and yep, it's in critical danger. The loot is in danger. So eventually they start making a campaign to Eize, but then Muba steps in and decides, you know what? These rebels, I'm done with these. These shouldn't be here. You're just causing issues. So they decide to help the yellow team and fend them off. Eventually, it comes to a point where they just can't go on anymore, and they are wiped out. For the peace treaty, it's pretty simple. The Zeludan rebellions, they kind of like just get punished. I don't know what really happens to them. And I think I have one last event to end the video, and it's gonna have to involve the green team. So yeah, the green team's pretty big in the looks, and yeah, it's kind of dense in population. So you know what that means. So I kind of gave it the brown team treatment. So two nations break off of it. This doesn't drastically affect the green nation. It's just cause like it's still pretty big. It can manage this, but it doesn't have access to the coast anymore. It's blocked off by this nation. So there's going to be some agreement between these three nations, and yeah, they are sorting things out. And what the heck was that? Sorry for that. So they just sort things out, and yeah, they share. All these three nations share this nation's coastal access. So the three green teams. And that's it for today's video. For today's episode. That's episode 3. If you have any suggestions for the next episode, please leave them down, because I don't know anymore. Jackflix, zooming out.